Hello and welcome back to Cello from the Beginning. Well, this is the second try of our video for a winter hymn because something went badly wrong in the audio levels on the previous winter hymn video. And so I apologize for that. I think I've got everything corrected now. We should have good sound levels. So I've also decided, because that ended up being a quite lengthy video, to split it up into 2 or 3 parts. And hope that each video will then be shorter and we'll be able to go through everything still, but it'll be also easier to navigate if you need to find your way back to a particular place to practice. So we'll consider this to be the introduction video where we're going to talk about a couple of details in the sheet music that are new. So if you haven't already done it, a link in the description, go ahead and get the sheet music printed out and come on back. And then we'll talk about a few things that we see in the music. So let me now bring the music up on my screen here. So this is, as you can see, the music for Winter Hymn. And we have a couple of new things in the music, or things that we want to talk about. We have dynamic indicators, MP, forte. We can think of these as fixed or static dynamic indicators. Then we have indicators of gradual dynamic change here and here. And then we have a couple of text tempo alterations. So let's start with our fixed dynamic indications. And we have in this piece MP and F. So MP stands for mezzo piano. The P, piano, is not the instrument piano, but the dynamic level of piano, which means soft. And the F over here is short for forte, which means loud. So F or forte, loud, P or piano, soft. What happens when we put the M in front of it? Well, the M is mezzo, and that is a modifier. In this case, that means medium or middle, you might think of it as. So mezzo piano would be medium soft. MF, mezzo forte, would be medium loud. And so we have a stacked tier of dynamics with forte at the top as loud, piano at the bottom as soft, and then mezzo piano a little above piano, and mezzo forte a little above mezzo piano. Now you might ask, why wouldn't we just have mezzo to divide the dynamics evenly between forte and piano? And that's a great question. And the answer is, once upon a time we did. There was, you would see in music just an M instead of an MP or an MF. So you would have F for loud, P for soft, and M for kind of in the middle. And that was probably a great idea. I don't know why that went away. But over time, it evolved into a more specific modifier onto the piano or forte dynamic. So in any case, in our piece, we're starting out at mezzo piano or medium soft. So not the softest that you can play, a decent sound in this case, because you're playing by yourself. So you just want to make a decent sound, good clear tone, but you don't have to really lean into it. And then when we get to this measure 10 here, we're going to be playing loud. So those are fixed indicators. We begin at mezzo piano and we remain mezzo piano, other than just small phrasing changes where we might, go down at the end of a phrase or up to a high point. But as a broad indicator, this whole section, medium soft, and then loud here. Now, these symbols, the hairpin here and the reverse hairpin here, these are symbols for change of dynamic. So when we begin at the small point here and it opens up, that means we're going to be going louder, gradually louder. This is called a crescendo. When we have it reversed and it narrows to a point, this is called decrescendo. So in the case of measure 9 and 10 here, we're at our mezzo piano dynamic, and we're going to gradually grow louder until we're at forte. We stay forte for 2 measures, And then in measure 13, we gradually grow softer from our forte dynamic to our mezzo piano. So these are gradual changes of dynamic rather than a fixed dynamic. And finally, we have these tempo change indicators. Here, the RIT, and here, the a tempo. So the RIT is an abbreviation of the Italian word ritardando, which means to slow down, to become gradually slower. And a tempo means back to tempo. So however fast you were going before you had this slowdown, you now return to that tempo. And if this is as to how much this slows down, this is really a matter of musical taste and feel. If you're playing in an orchestra, then a conductor is going to control that. But if you're playing by yourself or you're the soloist, you're going to control it. You're going to make that decision. And it really is just going to be by the feel of the music. Now, there are modifiers to that too. We could have molto ritardando, which means really slow down. But the RIT is just kind of a general indicator. And so, it really, like I said, it depends on the feel of the piece. So in this case, as I come into it, and I'll go back here to the forte and play through this retard so you hear it. So I might be playing. So you heard me begin at a particular tempo. I got to measure 14 there. I just took my, I didn't exactly put on the brakes, but I just kind of coasted in. And then when I hit measure 15, I was back to tempo. You'll get a feel for this as you just play different kinds of music and different speeds of music, and you just feel it, really. It's not a strict thing. It's not something we're going to do with a metronome. So those are the introductory details of the music. Everything else here we've already seen. We're familiar with quarter notes, we're familiar with eighth notes, we are familiar with half notes. We know all of these notes. This piece runs from the open D as the lowest note all the way up to fourth finger on the A, the high D. So, and it's a finger pattern we're familiar with, 0134 on the D and 0134 on the A. All right, so that's our introduction to Winter Hymn. And you will be ready now to move on to the next lesson, where we'll actually start working on the piece itself. But I just wanted to take a few minutes and go over those details in the sheet music and show them to you, so that you really see them, and then we're not distracted by them as we're trying to learn the piece. All right, we'll see you next time.